What do people do that lets you know they grew up poor? I think the question you're asking is hard to answer without saying, what kind of poor? Like my grandpa grew up Great Depression poor, and the hallmark of that was he never let a single morsel of food go to waste. I once saw him eat fried onions out of a cantaloupe half. Whereas modern poor isn't quite so bad. There is still hunger out there, but not nearly on the same level. I can spot kids who know tough times because they know the price of everything, and they think about tasks in terms of money. No exceptions. I tend to be really weird about food. I always need several weeks' supply on hand staples can, and I get really upset when my BF eats something I consider just mine. It's something I had to let him know about very early in the relationship. Me being this way is the result of childhood hunger, and I work to mitigate it, but I doubt it will ever really go away. Went fishing with a guy who never threw anything back unless it was illegal. Asked him why we were going to kill ourselves cleaning these tiny bass. Apparently we don't waste free food. Apparently when they went fishing, as a child it was to survive and not for fun. Each time I had this one friend over for dinner, he always helps himself last and only grabs the smallest bit of food. I always tell him to grab more, but he always insists that he wants me to have enough. And I always make more than enough for the both of us. Adjusting grocery shopping for sale items and specials. For example, I rarely eat pasta, but last week I had a coupon for stuff that was also on sale. I ended up paying 30 cents a box for Barilla al Bronzo. So now I'll be having pasta at least 6 times. Literally fill the shopping cart with all the things I need. Can't bring myself to spend the money even on things I need because it's too expensive. Leave without buying a single thing. Also, ordering nothing but water when eating out. And brothers would eat at the table, hunched over their plate, with their fork in one hand, and their other arm around their plate, ready to fend off anyone who might try to steal food from their plate. In my own experience growing up poor, for example, when I need shoes, I go shopping for shoes. I try on shoes. I don't buy shoes because I don't want to spend the money. The next day at work, I remember I need new shoes. For me fixing everything. Unfortunately, I'm really bad at sewing. My mama is not talented as well. Still doing the easy things, but need to pay a seamstress sometimes. Cooking and freezing the leftovers. I once had a roommate who wouldn't let me throw away an empty, expired peanut butter jar in case an apocalypse scenario happened and he had to scrape out the last moldy bits to survive. So, that, I guess. Put water in the shampoo conditioner bottle to get the last little bit out and used, as well as save multiple lotion bottles to eventually cut them open and scrape out what hasn't been pumped out. One thing that I definitely recognize that I do is buy super high quality stuff with no regard for the brand. I care so much more about things lasting than I do about impressing other people. Maybe frugality, resourcefulness, generosity, a strong work ethic, financial insecurity, minimalism, and food-related behaviors like saving leftovers or being hesitant to waste food. Saving delicious parts of food for later, even if they're on the same plate. The least delicious ingredients are eaten first, and the tastiest ones are saved to prolong the pleasure. Tips and tricks for very cheap foods that can help fool your stomach into thinking you've had enough to eat, so that you can sleep at night. Even with the hunger. I'm an older guy in an office of people in their 20s, and the poor background ones are the ones that get a mortgage early and don't go on overseas holidays. Put the cups upside down in the cabinets. Pancake mix and other dry goods go in the fridge. Very generous with money with friends and family. Done cooking something in the oven. Leave the door slightly open in winter and warm your hands over it for a bit. Why waste heat? My dad grew up mostly poor. He hoards grocery bags and it's been a habit for all of us. Even though we're all pretty well off now. You can tell someone grew up poor when they start sharing those struggle meals recipes that actually taste surprisingly good. Based off of the meals they make, even in adulthood, Nothing beats that cinnamon sugar buttered toast. I would play with my wiener in public. It would let the minority know I'm psychologically damaged. Eating quickly or piling your plate up when serving. Even though there is plenty for everyone, usually by certain comfort foods like buttered noodles over baked potatoes or chili burritos. My grandmother washed reused Ziploc bags. She had 14 siblings, they were dirt as poor. I refused to buy trash bags. I use grocery bags for all the trash in the house. My Amazon cart is empty, and I have 78 items saved for later. Keep the thermostat in summer at 78. And in winter, 65. In the UK, poor families have huge 72 TVs. True.